Okay, so we've got our product-driven, where you have to pretty much learn everything on the planet to be able to get that launched, or your personality-driven, where it's still going to take some time because you got to build your fan base.
Right, and that credibility and trust.
So are you kind of saying that either way of making money online, neither of them are an overnight riches sort of deal?
I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
Everything takes time. I think a lot of people look at their businesses like they're green beans or something. And I'm going to work on this for a couple months and I'm going to have a whole bunch of money. Or I'm going to join this network marketing thing and I'm going to have my house payment this month or whatever it is. And anything that really matters or is substantial takes some time. It takes some time and energy to put into it and some hard work, really. And let's just put it bluntly. I mean, if you really want to get me on my soapbox, I'll talk about, I think our society as a whole expects instant gratification, instant results and things, and it's just not anything that's worth having is worth working for. And so a business, whether it's, no matter how it's marketed, is going to take some learning and some elbow grease and some patience and some, I think, building rapport with people so that they know they can trust you. And that's tough to do on the Internet.
Mm-hmm. So either way, if you're going to make money online, you have to have commitment, and you have to be willing to put in the work before you make the money. Given that, let's go back to the product-driven. Is there anything good about that? I mean, it sounds kind of hard. You have to learn all that stuff, but are there pros that go in that direction?
Well, I think there's pros to it in that you learn the basics of marketing, and the basics of marketing are always valuable to you, even if you're personality-driven. If you could somehow marry the two, the ability to really use some marketing techniques with the personality, then you have something.
When you're setting up your product and you're learning how to write the product, how to do the tech stuff, how to write the sales letter, that really is a marketing education in and of itself.
Right.
So there is something good about it.
Yeah.
Product-driven marketing.
It's sort of like launching a rocket. It takes a lot of fuel. It sort of makes me think of something Leslie Householder taught me one time. She talked about working on a competitive versus a creative plane. Mm-hmm. And a competitive plane assumes that there's this piece of pie with only, let's say, 10 pieces to it. And if somebody else new comes in the room, somebody's got to lose something. Somebody's got to give up some of their pie for this extra person. And so it's this very structured way of doing something versus the creative plane is, okay, you've got this pie and somehow you get creative with it and somebody else comes in the room and you just add more around the outside of the pie. And when you do, then the whole circle gets bigger and everybody gets more pie. There's more to go along. And so it's sort of a forced way of doing things, I think, with the sales page and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's more of a competitive plane. There's only so many people out here looking for this, and we've got to make sure we capture those people, and we've got to get them through our funnel, and we've got to get a certain kind of response rate, and we've got to say whatever it takes to get them to buy.
Right.
I think that mentality kind of doesn't have to be that way with product-driven, but it tends to be that way, where when you're personality-driven, you just put out good things that relate to your expertise. You become the thought leader in your industry. You're putting out things and you're not always constantly worrying about response rates or how many people are actually going to convert to a sale. You're more just trying to constantly put out this essence of who you are and track to you the people who resonate with that. And then the sales are just a byproduct. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. It makes sense. It seems more vague.
Yeah, it is vague. It's harder to quantify.